That's true, and I think that, we've seen very physical bouts from both of these teams all weekend long. We've seen hard-fought bouts and very good jamming, and also along with, strong packs. So I'm excited we're going to have a physical knockout.
I have no doubt both of these teams showing that they are forces to be reckoned with. So it's one of those unstoppable force meeting an immovable object sort of things here going on Derby Laces track 2.
Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm October Revolution.
And I am Rex Manning.
And we will be with you for this bout where it looks like we're about to get started. The teams are lined up on the notorious RED jam line. We have some jammers standing behind it. For Texas, we have Dr. Feelgood. And for the Gatekeepers, we have Magnum PIMP.
That whistle says we're getting started here. Dr. Feelgood getting pushed to the outside there by number 82. That is Percy Control. Doesn't seem to phase him, though, as he gets out and gets lead jammer. However, Dr. Feelgood right behind him.
Yeah, that was a race to the finish there. I think American Pharaoh would have been jealous of a finish like that.
I think so. Magnum PIMP gets shoved down to the track there. 1 point for Texas, no points for the Gatekeepers on that one.
On the line now we have Shane Bauer for the Gatekeepers. He will be up against Lucky Charmer for Texas.
Lucky Charmer showing yesterday he is a very agile jammer. Very difficult to knock down.
Shane Bauer is stuck behind a blocking box in the front. I like to use that instead of walls since it's much more amorphous and moves around a lot more than you see, your typical walls of the past doing.
Totally agree.
That is Lucky Charmer. He's able to push past in the front, get out. He is your lead jammer. He was a big factor in the game against the Twin Cities Terrors yesterday.
Tons of points scored. Really great vision on the Derby Laces track. Really fun to watch. Both jammers meeting some tough resistance, though. Lucky Charmer making it through finally. That is a Rydell Skates Grand Slam for him.
He was able to get around it. That is Shane Bauer has been stuck in this pack now for just under a full minute of play. That is a long time when you're a jammer to be behind all those gators.
Especially when you're pushing and digging and trying to bully your way out. That great Texas box there, not letting him through.
So that was 7 points for Texas on that jam. That's going to put them up 8 over St. Louis, but we've only been playing for about 3 minutes.
Enabler on the track now for Texas, taking on Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers, giving each other a little handshake there before things get started.
Oh, nice apex jump on the inside. We see that is the Enabler who's lead jammer. Debaucherous Prime is right behind him, though.
Pack moving relatively fast now compared to what we've seen a lot from this weekend. Enabler coming in. Nice move from him there, picking up 3 points.
Yeah, the pack broke up a little bit there. You couldn't see all of it on the screen, but it looked like the Gatekeepers kind of took off in the front there, able to put some space, so try and keep from getting scored on. But the Enabler really just caught up, got around, picked up 3 of those points.
Buster for Texas taking on Screech Around for the Gatekeepers. That whistle means the action does start again. Buster being dragged all the way back behind the notorious RED jammer line. Huge hit there from Specs.
Screech Around is recycled to the back. It looks like he got new glasses today. Yesterday he took a hit that sent his glasses flying across the track. They broke in half, and his bench taped them back together for him. He spent the rest of the game jamming in duct-taped glasses. Lead jammer once again goes to Texas here.
Beg your pardon, that hit earlier on was from Spin Diesel, not Specs, who is a alternate today. Magnum PIMP out there for the Gatekeepers, taking on his old friend Dr. Feelgood here.
That was a 0-0 jam. The score stands at 0 for the Gatekeepers so far, 11 for Texas.
Looks like 2 Texas blockers in the Potawatomi Casino Hotel and penalty box. Full complement of blockers out there for the Gatekeepers.
Magnum PIMP is showing us the back. He gets out. He's lead jammer, having just off screen for you. This is the second time the Gatekeepers have gotten lead today. They have not yet scored.
Dr. Feelgood having a little bit of trouble getting knocked out of bounds a couple of times. They're dragged all the way back, giving Gatekeepers a chance to get out and pick up another Rydell Skates Grand Slam.
There is a cut called on Dr. Feelgood. He's headed to the penalty box. This is going to be a Sakatumi power jam for the Gatekeepers and Magnum PIMP. They've not only gotten on the board, but they were 1 point from tying the game so far.
Good defense there up front from Texas, knocking down Magnum PIMP. Two more to beat, tries to take an outside line, can't quite get there, finds one on the inside, calls it off. One more Rydell Skates Grand Slam for him. Score now 15-11 with 24-25 left in this first half.
Yeah, the common story that we're seeing is that, when your blockers are in the box or your jammers are in the box, you're going to have a lot of points scored on you. That's what just happened in that last jam.
Every Grand Slam here this weekend sponsored by Rydell Skates. Rydell Skates, unmatched quality, unmatched performance. Shane Bauer is your lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. He is attempting to score points. Meanwhile, Dr. Feelgood has rejoined play. He is now out of the Potawatomi Casino Hotel penalty box. 3 points there for the Gatekeepers, no points for Texas. Score now 18-11 with 23-28 left in this first half.
If you've been enjoying the stream this weekend, it is courtesy of Hinckley Productions. Hinckley Productions has been a friend of Derby since 2008, providing live video production services. If you'd like to donate to show your thanks for this feed, just head to the Brew City Bruisers page. There's a Brouhaha link and then a live link. You can donate there, or just check us out on Facebook.
Lucky Charmer out for Texas, taking the jammer star there. That is Debaucherous Prime out for the Gatekeepers. Lucky Charmer out first, but just barely. He will be your lead jammer. However, Debaucherous Prime sneaks on by, forcing that call off. No points for either team on that jam.
Going into this game, a lot of people were saying that there was going to be a very evenly matched team. I'm really seeing that these jammers, other than one large jam we've seen so far by Magnum PIMP, it's been a race to get out and a race to get back around.
Quick calls off, not huge point totals here. 18-11 is your score. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a tight one all day.
Yeah, both teams are hoping. Oh, that is the enabler. He picks up lead jammer for Texas. That's the second in a row for Texas.
Meanwhile, Screech Around still stuck behind a Texas wall, gets knocked to the outside. He's going to have to go all the way back to turn 2.
Good work by St. Louis Gatekeepers trying to waterfall on and knock out enabler. They were unable to do that. He gets around, picks up 5 points. The Gatekeepers, Monster Jam is in the penalty box right now. He has a 4-arm penalty that's going to give the Texas team a 4-on-3 advantage.
Enabler calling that off after another Rydell Skates Grand Slam there. Natural Grand Slam for him. When the dust settles, we do have a lead change, 21-18 now. Texas in the lead with 21:08 left in this first half.
Right at the end of that jam, you couldn't see it on the screen, but Screech Around was sent to the penalty box for a cut on the far side of the track on the straightaways between turns 2 and 3. So this will be a Sakatumi power jam. Sakatumi has fun, funky socks. They have tacos, cupcakes, ninjas, mustaches, unicorns, and other things. So check out Sakatumi.
Dr. Feelgood taking advantage also of a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Texas. Pushing hard up at the front there, knocked out of bounds and dragged back. Good penalty kill so far from the Gatekeepers.
Dr. Feelgood able to get around the front there, spins around, breaks free. This is now lead jammer.
Called lead earlier in the jam, got recycled back. Didn't get to take advantage there till just now.
Big hit by Blood Zeppelin in the front.
Monster Jam heading to the penalty box, the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box. Just 2 blockers on the track now for the Gatekeepers. Dr. Feelgood taking advantage, picking up another Rydell Skates Grand Slam there.
Blood Zeppelin was also sent to the penalty box for that hit he had in the front on Dr. Feelgood. That's 2 blockers in the box for the Gatekeepers.
Dr. Feelgood falls to the ground, trying to get around the Saint. Nice move there.
That was a very large jam for Texas, second only to the 14-point jam we saw from Magnum PIMP earlier in the game. 13 points. That's going to put Texas up 34-18.
Timeout here on Derby Laces Track 2. Gives us a chance to tell you about Classic Slice Pizza. Classic Slice is your friendly neighborhood Roller Girl owned pizzeria, serving out huge slices, salads, desserts, and apps made from scratch, specializing in vegetarian and vegan items and the best gluten-free crust in the city. Classic Slice Pizza has been a proud Brew City Bruiser sponsor since the very beginning. Stop in this weekend and grab a slice and a $2 tall boy. Classic Slice is in Bayview and open till midnight. I had Classic Slice Pizza last night. It was incredible.
Looks like Gatekeepers are taking this moment to get focused. You know, I saw them play yesterday. They can get in penalty trouble. They've been held scoreless for the last 4 jams. They've had their blockers coming in and out of the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box, and they also just had a power jam against them. So I think that they're just trying to focus, lock back down for this.
Hard to play your best derby when you're rotating blockers and jammers out of the penalty box. Definitely a great opportunity for them to sort of settle things down, refocus, and get back out here and play some derby.
I agree. You know, it's important to remember that when you have blockers in the penalty box, not only are you losing that defense, you know, against the other jammer, but also you only have to pass one person to get, 2 points or 3 points, depending on how many people are in the box. So it can very easily run up the score, against your favor.
Absolutely. Ghost points, as we call those, the points awarded for skaters sitting in the penalty box can be a huge factor in gameplay.
I think that people sometimes think that those penalties can be justified, but those ghost points can really add up.
Absolutely. Buster on the track for Texas. He's got the star and lead jammer, followed not too far behind, though, by Magnum PIMP. Quick move to the outside by Buster. Slides out of bounds, has to call it off. No points for either team there.
And that was a good move by the Gatekeepers and also by Buster. He took a look to see where that other jammer was and called off that jam when he saw that he wasn't going to have time to score some points.
No points there for either team. Gatekeepers did manage to get all of their blockers back, though, on that jam. So we are starting now with a full complement of blockers, I believe, for both teams. No, one blocker standing now in the penalty box for Texas.
Jamming right now for Texas, that is Lucky Charmer, and for the Gatekeepers, that is Shane Bauer.
Number 82 for the Gatekeepers, that is Percy Control picking up a penalty there.
Both jammers fighting hard in this pack. Looks like Lucky Charmer breaks out, is lead jammer.
Shane Bauer, meanwhile, being dragged all the way back behind the pivot line. Takes the opportunity to put a little hit on Lucky Charmer.
That is Stark And the Saint up front trying to hold Lucky Charmer. Right now he's just up against Stark in the front. You can't see it, it's a little bit off screen, but he was able to break through. He picked up 5 points.
Rhino, meanwhile, picking up a low block penalty. He will be sitting in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
That is Shane Bauer headed to the penalty box for a back block. This is going to be a Sakatumi Power Jam for Texas once again. That was 10 points for Texas on that jam.
And the enabler out for Texas is going to take advantage of this Sakatumi Power Jam.
We've got 3-on-3 blockers on the track.
Tough defense there on the notorious RED jammer line from the Gatekeepers.
There's been 6 jams so far since the Gatekeepers have been able to score.
Enabler is out and lead jammer. He is now eligible to start putting up points. Just 2 blockers on the track for both teams now. Jammers love to see that when they're coming up into the back of a pack. It means that they've got a lot more room to maneuver, and he does. Just 4 points there for him.
That track doesn't look so wide on your screen, but if you've ever skated before, that's a lot of space to try and cover with just 2 people.
Without a doubt. Great job from the Gatekeepers up front, pushing the enabler to the inside. He's got to go back, come in behind them, avoid that track cut penalty. Nice job there, though, staying on his skates, staying on his feet. He will pick up another 4 points.
This Potawatomi Hotel and leaving the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box, that is Shane Bauer for the Gatekeepers. Both jammers are back on the track now.
Pack moving backwards, all the way back.
That's a full revolution of the track now.
Very, very rare to see that kind of backwards movement in a pack.
It burns a lot of time. It kept both jammers out of bounds. Now we're going to see a really stretched out pack. It actually doesn't fit on your screen. The enabler back in turn 2 while Shane Bauer is fighting in turn 3. The pack is just, it looks more like a pace line than a pack.
It is definitely a pace line pack. No points there for the Gatekeepers. No points on that pass from Texas. Though that was a Sakatumi Power Jam, nice job by the Gatekeepers there, holding Texas to just 8 points.
Yeah, that was a long jam, too. They were able to do that. You know, they were doing a very good job waterfalling the enabler back over and over again, and then stretching that pack out to try and give their jammers some space to get out while also giving themselves more room to hold Texas's jammers.
Buster on the line for Texas, taking on Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers. Both teams at full strength, I believe.
No, that was a clockwise block was just called on Monster Jam right as you said that.
Just as I said it.
You jinxed it. Sent to the penalty box for the Gatekeepers.
And now Buster headed to the box as well. He will be taking a seat in the Potawatomi Casino Hotel penalty box.
It looked like he cut the track there.
That is a Sakatumi Power Jam here for Debaucherous Prime. He's going to take advantage. That's a grand slam for him, a Rydell Skates grand slam.
This is the first Power Jam for the Gatekeepers in this game. So they're hoping to capitalize on it as Texas has done with previous Power Jams.
Incredible Hulk trying to do some offense there, trying to help his jammer get through. Not successful. Calls the jam off. No points there for him on that pass. 5 points, though, on that jam. And he stranded Buster in the penalty box.
Buster is standing right now, so he's got under 10 seconds to go, and the Gatekeepers decided to keep him there.
So the only jammer on the track right now on the notorious RED jammer line is Handrail for the Gatekeepers.
In the pack, we have a 4-on-3 pack advantage for the Gatekeepers. Rhino is in the box for Texas.
No pass, no penalty there for Handrail. He is not going to be your lead jammer, but he is the only jammer on the track and the only one who can score points at this point. And score points he does. 5-point grand slam. That's a Rydell Skates grand slam for him.
The pivot for Texas TIP seems to be holding the jammer panty. So we'll see if he decides to put it on.
Nice spin move there from handrail, picking up another Rydell Skates Grand Slam. Communicating with his blockers as he comes in, telling them what he wants from them.
That star pass was completed. Tip is the jammer for Texas. He is able to break free. He's completed his initial pass.
No lead jammer here. We are going to be going the full 2 minutes in this jam.
Big hit on that straightaway.
5 more points there for handrail.
3 for Tip.
We have a Texas blocker going to the box. That is number 88, Philip Stout.
4 more points for the Gatekeepers, able to pick up 4 points there. Tip is caught inside the pack once again.
Outstanding defensive work here from the Gatekeepers. Back block penalty being called on number 86, Wrecking Bell.
That is 5 more points for the Gatekeepers.
24 points jam there for the Gatekeepers to just 7 for Texas.
Yeah, Tip was able to pick up the full 4 points as he was being recycled back in that pack. That's one thing, when you're getting recycled or waterfalled against, as they call it, when someone knocks you out, someone comes in front, knocks you out again, comes in front. You do pass the hips, so you can get those points, and sometimes you can be in the pack for a long time. This is the largest jam we've seen so far today, but it's on the Gatekeepers, who were held scoreless earlier. It's 24 points.
59-47 here. Texas in the lead. 10:25 left in this first half.
Jamming right now for the Gatekeepers, that's Magnum PIMP, and for Texas, that is Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood is out and lead jammer and on his way through the pack. Scoots through relatively untouched. A Rydell Skates Grand Slam for him.
Breaking out of the pack, that's Magnum PIMP. He's completed his initial pass, coming back around, hoping to force the call off. He does.
Dr. Feelgood calling it off there, saying he picked up that 4th point. Jammer ref saying just 3 points for him. 8 points on that jam. 67-47, 9:47 left in this game, in this first half.
Don't take away the second half of the game.
I'm not going to take away anything. I want to see the second half of this game.
You know what your skates hate? They hate being put in your awful sweaty bag full of gear. It's bad for the leather. It's bad for them. So if you don't want to do that, and you don't, check out Bruised Skate News, the original over-the-shoulder roller skate holder.
That is Shane Bauer out for the Gatekeepers with the Jammer Star on his helmet, taking on Lucky Charmer for Texas. Still wonderful defense there in the back of the pack from the Gatekeepers. Number 54, Texas, that's Mr. Taco Bridging, trying to give his jammers, or his blockers, a little bit more of a chance to hold back Shane Bauer. Shane Bauer is your lead jammer, going to drop back and play a little bit with Lucky Charmer. 1 point there for Texas, no points for the Gatekeepers.
Spin Diesel during that jam, he went to the box for a multiplayer block. Percy Control also went to the box during that jam. I did not see what for, but that's going to put the Gatekeepers down 2 blockers for this next jam.
A little bit of a score clarification there. Texas Jammer up holding up 3 points instead of just the 1. So bringing our score to 70-47, 8 minutes and 26 seconds left in this first half.
That is the enabler pushing up against the front, jamming for Texas. He's out first. He's lead jammer. He is jamming against Debaucherous Prime.
Debaucherous Prime picking up a blocking with the head penalty. Came in a little bit low, apparently. Led with the head. He will be sitting in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
He gets there just as Percy Control leaves. That means all 4 Gatekeepers blockers are back on the track now for the enabler to contend with.
Gatekeepers hoping to continue the great defense they've been playing so far. pick up a penalty kill like they did before. Enabler definitely having some trouble. Meanwhile, a multiplayer block penalty going to Monster Jam for the Gatekeepers.
We're seeing so many more of those multiplayer blocks this past year in Derby, as those, I like to call them pods or tripods or squares of blocking are more popular. You see a lot of bracing. People grab on, hold, and move their teammates around. They aren't able to let go when those connections are challenged. They're going to pick up those multiplayer blocks.
Yeah, definitely seeing way more of those than we ever used to.
And I think as people adjust to just how long they can hold on or just when they need to let go, we'll see them lessen. But as the gameplay changes, we see the penalties increase as the teams adjust.
Both teams showing the pivot line a little bit of love there. It's changing things up a little bit. We don't hear much about the pivot line these days, but it is still there and is still used. That is Buster out there for Texas. However, Debaucherous Prime comes in, and as we see so often, picks up lead jammer coming out of the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box. He is in full control here.
Bled Zeppelin headed to the Potawatomi Hotel Casino penalty box on a low block.
Great jump move there by Buster to get past that last Gatekeepers line of defense. He is now in and eligible to score as well. 2 points for both jammers there on that pass.
Score right now with about 6 minutes left in the half is 82 for Texas, 49 for St. Louis.
Texas sort of just slowly building that lead as we go on here. Gatekeepers continuing to sort of hurt themselves a little bit with penalties. They're going to want to tone that down here if they want to stay in this game and keep it competitive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, they really do need to work on their penalty, on their penalties. I saw them yesterday also get in penalty trouble, but then they got back out of it. They were able to win that game. So, I think they're going to try to adjust. The Gatekeepers are calling their second timeout. They've stopped the clock.
Looks like that's turning into an official timeout. Gives us a chance to let you know that was the first scoring jam since Hanrail picked up 24 earlier in this game for the Gatekeepers. Explaining a lot about how this gap is starting to grow. 82-49 with just 5:55 left in this first half. Certainly not an insurmountable gap for St. Louis, especially as tough as their defense has been throughout here. If they can keep themselves out of the penalty box, continue that great defensive play, I think they've got a great chance to really make this a great game. Yeah,
I don't think that it's odd to see the Gatekeepers hold a jammer for a full 2 minutes, pick up 25, 30 points in one jam. So this is definitely not an insurmountable barrier for them, but they do need to keep their jammer out of the penalty box, but also keep their blockers out of the penalty box, because we saw earlier when there was a score correction from 1 to 3, that was for those 2 box points. So that jammer only had to pass one player to score 3 points. That's almost a full pass of points.
Well, and the other issue with penalties too is that penalties beget penalties. When you only have 2 blockers on the track, they have to play more sort of aggressive, and they're more likely to pick up a penalty.
That's true. That was an official timeout to catch up on penalties, as we were talking about, as we've seen so many of them. It takes a lot to move them from the referees to the penalty board to the penalty box. Good job by the NSOs in pink and the referees in stripes keeping that all straight.
Working hard for us here on this third long day of Brouhaha 2015.
Yeah, I was an NSO for almost 4 years, and I've done this tournament before, and it is absolutely brutal. So kudos to them.
Dr. Feelgood on the line for Texas. He is out, and lead jammer. He is taking on Screech Around for the Gatekeepers. Screech Around just stepping past the last line of defense for Texas, but not quite as cleanly as he liked. Gets knocked out of bounds. He's going to have to come in behind him. Still stuck behind a great Texas defensive group there. Yeah,
those blockers are really working together well to keep him knocked inside, knocked out of side. But Philip Stout, number 88 for Texas, did step out of bounds, picked up a cut. He's headed to the box. That's his 5th trip to the box in the first half, so I would call that a little bit of penalty trouble for Philip Stout.
Great defensive wall there from the Gatekeepers. However, Dr. Feelgood finding a nice seam on that inside. He's going to slip through and pick up 4 points there.
A little bit of friendly fire for the Gatekeepers. One of their blockers accidentally tripping another. Both get up, look okay.
Spin Diesel out there as pivot for the Gatekeepers. He is going to be helping out number L7. That is Magnum PIMP. He will be taking on Lucky Charmer for Texas.
Lucky Charmer has had a very good bout for Texas so far. Hopes to continue the run.
Forearm penalty there going to Lucky Charmer. He will sit in the Potawatomi Casino Hotel penalty box. That gives Magnum PIMP a chance to get out there and pick up lead jammer. He is now in the box, in the pack and scoring points.
He is able to juke around, dance around, spin around. I don't know what you call that, but he gets all the way around all of Texas, picks up 5 points. That's a Rydell Grand Slam.
All the different kinds of around he did just then.
It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch. He is back in the pack, engaging those Texas blockers. Knocked to the outside, got to come in behind him.
He's moving so fast they can't keep him on your screen. He gets through, picks up 5 more points.
Meanwhile, Lucky Charmer back in. He has just completed his initial pass. 5-point Rydell Skates Grand Slam for Magnum PIMP.
This is quite a fast pack. It makes the blockers a little less stable. They don't need quite as much of a push or a hit to fall down. You saw a lot of that. That was a 12-point jam for Magnum PIMP, closing that gap a little bit. Score now is 61 for the Gatekeepers, 86 for Texas.
Good stretch here for the Gatekeepers. Just 25 points separating these teams now. Definitely the way they want to be ending this first half.
I agree with you. They want that gap to be as close as possible when they go into the half. It gives them almost a fresh start from coming out.
We always say it's 0-0 at the half, no matter what the score actually is.
But it's better when it's tied, because then it is 0-0.
Exactly. That is 151. The enabler on the track for Texas, taking on Handrail for the Gatekeepers. Handrail, of course, picking up that big 24-point jam earlier in this game. But it is the enabler who is out, and your lead jammer.
The enabler right now is the high scorer on the game.
Handrail picking up a track cut penalty. He will be sitting in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
As I was saying, the enabler scored 31 points so far in this game. Actually, add that, it's now 36.
He is on a Sakatumi power jam, hoping to take advantage, maybe build up this gap a little bit. Another Rydell Skates Grand Slam there for him.
He's coming back around. We have a slow offense. Passive offense, as I like to call it. Where the pack slows down in order to make the jammer have to skate less to get back around to him.
That's ideally what you want to do. The less they have to skate, the more points they can rack up. No points for either team on that last pass. 96-61 now. 10-point jam there for Texas.
That was a great jam for Texas, and we've seen a lot of these power jams being given to Texas. They've been able to capitalize on them. Maybe not large 24 or 30-point jams, but these 10 and 12s do keep the gap, similarly situated.
Keeps it padded enough to where they can, maybe play a little more aggressive than they might if things were closer, or if they were in some sort of penalty trouble themselves. That is the Buster out for Texas. Handrail out for the Gatekeepers. He is still in the Potawatomi Casino Hotel penalty box.
That's Handrail back in the pack, gets all the way through. He is not lead jammer, although he is out in front. Both jammers have completed their initial pass. Texas was lined up in the back, so Buster called off the jam in order to keep Handrail from scoring points. That is a 0-0 jam.
I've been saying it all weekend, and it's true. We see that so often, jammers coming out of the penalty box, and really everybody's so distracted by what's happening in the pack, they don't see that jammer come out, and the jammer is able to scoot through. Didn't pick up lead jammer there, which does often happen, but still able to get out and prevent scoring there from Texas.
Yes, that's why sometimes when you're listening to the feed or you're watching in the venue, you can hear the bench all screaming jammer, jammer, jammer at the same time. It's try to alert that pack that jammer is leaving. This is an official review being called by the Gatekeepers. For those of you who don't know how an official review works, that each team gets one per half. If they win it, or if the call is overturned, they get it back. If they don't, they do not get it back. And what happens is the captains go in, have a conversation with the ref staff. The refs all powwow. The refs and officials all powwow. They check, they make sure to see what happened, and then they come back and deliver a ruling.
It's a great option for everybody to make sure everything's sort of running the way it's supposed to run. It gives a coach and captain a chance to go out and talk things over with the referees. Gives the referees a chance to go, did we see what we saw, or did we not see what we didn't see? And as you noted, to avoid the sort of just willy-nilly official review. If you don't get it right, you do lose your official review.
Well, it's like the court of roller derby. It gives the officials time to collect information. I mean, often officials are kind of islands in and of themselves. They're communicating with each other, but maybe they aren't allowed to have, maybe they don't have the time to have a conversation about, who on the outside or who on the inside can see exactly where a wheel is or exactly where hips are. And so this way they can really have a conversation with each other and come up with a consensus agreement. They get a little bit more time. I do like to think of it as the court of roller derby.
I like, that's a great way to think about it. We will let you know what the judge's decision is as soon as we know.
The gatekeepers are requesting a cut penalty being called on black 151. That's the enabler. We're awaiting the outcome of that. Like I said, it's a court. There's deliberations. The head ref is our judge. He will let us know.
Officials are conferring. They are talking it over and going to deliver their decision here in just one moment. Gives us a chance to tell you a little bit about Field 59. Field 59 is the video platform powered by the live stream technology behind 2014 Roller Derby World Cup in Dallas and now powers the live stream for the 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. Power jam your derby bouts with Field 59's video solutions.
It looks real pretty, doesn't it? It's delightful. Thank you, Field 59. The official review has been rolled upon and no call stands. There will not be a cut called on the black jammer on the enabler.
And that does mean that the gatekeepers lose their official review for this half. However, just a minute 58 left in this half. 96-61, Texas over the gatekeepers.
Dr. Feelgood is the jammer for Texas. He did just pick up lead jammer. He is jamming against Shane Bauer for the gatekeepers.
Good defense from Texas there. Also from the gatekeepers, dragging Dr. Feelgood all the way back to the pivot line.
Gatekeepers are able to hold him in the back. We see the pack starting to widen out. You've got a pod in the front, you've got a pod in the back, and you've got that bridge there in the middle. Holding it all together.
Both teams doing excellent work there. However, Shane Bauer is out. Not lead jammer, though. Oh, back block being picked up by Dr. Feelgood. He will sit in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box. This is a Sakatumi power jam for the gatekeepers.
This is a great opportunity for the gatekeepers if they can take advantage of it. They haven't had quite as many power jams as Texas has had, so they haven't had quite as much opportunity to have those with a time when they can be scoring and Texas cannot be.
35 points was separating these teams, just 30 points separating them now after that Rydell Skates Grand Slam. Shane Bauer into the pack now, scoring more points through relatively easily. Tripped up just a little bit there at the front. However, he does pick up another Rydell Skates Grand Slam.
That is Dr. Feelgood back in the pack. He finds an avenue on the outside. He outruns the gatekeeper blockers. Shane Bauer back in, hoping to pick up one more pass.
4 points there for Shane Bauer.
That is Bled Zeppelin you see going to the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box at the bottom of your screen. He picked up a cut penalty.
Dr. Feelgood taken down there at the notorious RED jammer line. However, the Saint going to pick up a forearm penalty for his trouble. 5 more points going up for Shane Bauer there when the dust settles. 4 more points there for Texas as well. Dust settles a 19-9 jam, 105-80 now. Texas over the gatekeepers. We are at halftime.
So what do you think of that first half?
Both teams playing really tough defense. I think as we've noted, difficult to play your best derby when your blockers and your jammers are in the penalty box. I expect very much that the gatekeepers are going to talk about their penalties at halftime, talk about ways they can clean up their play a little bit, give their team a chance to win.
Yeah, I think that we're noticing the gatekeepers penalties more, especially because they've had more jammers go to the box than Texas, but neither team is playing particularly penalty-free.
No, certainly not. Philip Stout now with 5 penalties for Texas. However, just one more skater on that team with 4. That would be Rhino. Everybody else at 2 or 1. Only two skaters for the gatekeepers with 4 penalties.
Yeah, so, I think that both teams, as we can see, we've watched it. They're at their strongest when they have their full their full complement of blockers, so they're probably both going to go back there and try and work on keeping them.
I think penalties will be a huge factor in who wins this game when we finally get to 0-0-0.
Yes, and as we get towards the end of the game, the clock becomes a factor, and we'll definitely see the hits get harder and the packs get faster.
Absolutely. We will be back in about 8.5 minutes. I am Rex Manning.
I'm October Revolution. See you soon. Welcome back. We're about a minute and 20 seconds from the second half of this game between the ranked second in the MRDA St. Louis Gatekeepers and ranked 6th Texas Men's Roller Derby.
Yeah, a little bit of an upset going here. Texas continuing to show that they are a legitimate force in the MRDA. Gatekeepers certainly not out of it, though. Just 25 points separating these teams here as we come into the second half. What do you think you're going to see from the Gatekeepers here coming into the second half?
Well, I think I'm going to see them try and pick up some more of those larger jams. Like Handrail had a 24-point jam. I think they're going to want to bottle up the Texas jammers so that they can get, more points in one jam as opposed to chipping it off. But if they do get lead and the other jammer does get out, I think they will call it, in these small 4s and 3s, call it off just to get rid of the lead before they try and make a move. But also I think they'll probably try to watch their penalties.
I think penalty is going to be a huge factor here in the second half. I agree. Just 25 points separating the two teams. That's just a few 4-0 jams, and you're tied up and taking the lead.
Yeah.
Certainly, hopefully, I'm sure an experienced team like the Gatekeepers not panicking at this point. They know what they need to do, and they know how to do it.
No, but I think that Texas is aware of that too, right? I don't think that I don't think they're sitting there saying, we're super comfortable. We have a huge lead. So I think they're going to keep the pressure on, and, they got to be feeling very good coming out of that half, being able to do this on the scoreboard, and probably will try to keep doing what they're doing, which is forcing those cut penalties, forcing the Gatekeepers jammers to call off the jam when they're able to get out, and just keeping wily and getting around those wall box amoeba things in the front.
Jammers on the notorious RED jammer line. Blockers way up at the pivot line. That is the enabler for Texas taking on Shane Bauer for the Gatekeepers. Enabler out and your lead jammer.
The Gatekeepers are starting this half down 2 blockers. Bled, Zeppelin, and the Saint are in the penalty box. There was a star pass right there. The jammer right now is Magnum PIMP.
Quick call off there from the enabler, picking up 3 points. No points for the Gatekeepers.
That is 21 penalties for each team at the half. So that was 42 penalties in 30 minutes of roller derby.
That's that's a respectable total if you're trying to total up a decent amount of penalties.
A good way to keep the refs and NSO super busy.
Everybody back on the Derby Laces track.
That is Lucky Charmer for Texas and Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers. Lucky Charmer's out first. He's going to be your lead jammer.
Debaucherous Prime was on his way out of the pack too, got tangled up with some some Texas skaters. Just seeing the red and black there. He does split those 2 defenders, though. He is out and eligible to score as well. Enabler, meanwhile, forced to call it off. 1 point for Texas, no points for the Gatekeepers.
So far, we haven't seen a huge move in the score, but it's still 80 for St. Louis, 109 for Texas.
1 blocker in the box for Texas. That will be Diamond, sitting in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
All 5 of the Gatekeepers on the Derby Laces track.
That's the way they want to keep it. Magnum PIMP stepping through his wall, coming up against a tough group of black jerseys there. Dr. Feelgood being dragged all the way back to the notorious RED jammer line.
As much as we talk about penalties, Magnum PIMP has not had a single one today.
Super important there, picking up a Rydell Skates Grand Slam.
Percy Control is headed to the penalty box for the Gatekeepers.
Meanwhile,
6th penalty, it was a forearm.
Dr. Feelgood also picking up a track cut penalty there. He will sit down. This is a Sakatumi power jam for Magnum PIMP.
That is Magnum PIMP around out the front. He picks up 5 points. That is a Rydell Grand Slam.
Nice job getting around that last blocker there. Stays on his feet despite some tough defense.
Magnum PIMP is very good at both being not only staying upright when he's being hit or pushed, but also just be immovable. So he's able to get that room to do those spins and jumps and get through.
picks up 3 points there, calls it off, stranding Dr. Feelgood in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
That was an 18-point jam for Magnum PIMP and the Gatekeepers. That makes the score now 98 for St. Louis, 109 for Texas. So this is a very different game than it was 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely. 30-second penalties certainly don't have the impact that the old 1-minute penalties did, but they still have an impact, and we saw it right there.
Especially when it's against someone like Magnum PIMP who can really rack up those points.
That is the handrail out there for the Gatekeepers now. He is your lead jammer. Dr. Feelgood back in play. He's trying to find his way through the pack. Gets knocked to the floor. Handrail looking great there, picking up his own Rydell Skates Grand Slam. Texas blockers split, 2 in front, 2 in back. However, handrail taken to the inside. He's got to come back in around. Now taken to the outside.
Dr. Feelgood completes his initial pass. He's able to get out. Handrail calls off that jam. That will be a 8-point jam. For handrail, the score now 106 St. Louis, 109 Texas. That makes this a 3-point game.
I think Gatekeepers doing exactly what they wanted to do coming in here, tightening up that score. I think we're in for a heck of a second half here.
I agree with you. This is exactly what I kind of expected to happen here, and we're going to probably see a seesaw through the end of the game.
Texas calling a timeout there off of your screen. They want to talk about exactly what we've been talking about, this shrinking gap between the two scores. They want to settle things down, talk about how they can make sure that they've got a slight lead now. They don't want to lose it.
It also gives them a chance to try and break up the momentum that the Gatekeepers have been able to put together here in the second half. It stops gameplay, it stops everything. It gets people out of their groove. And also it can get you in your groove too if you really need to talk about it.
Yeah, hoping to cool the Gatekeepers' jets here a little bit. We'll see how successful this ploy is.
Hey, if you love roller derby, all of the roller derby, MRDA, WFTDA, don't forget that the 2015 International WFTDA playoffs are fast approaching. You can watch the best teams in the world compete for the glory of the Hydra. Mark your calendars. Brackets and teams will be announced July 15th at WFTDA.com.
Everybody back on the track now for both teams. Looks like Texas down a blocker.
Jamming for Texas, that's the enabler for the Gatekeepers. That is Screech Around with his newly put back together glasses.
Whistle starts play, and both jammers coming up against tough defensive walls there. Those things moving around like Ferris wheels. However, it is Screech Around out and lead jammer.
Screech Around has this great thing where he kind of runs at the pack and just straight through it. Kind of very hard to stop him, and it's also fun to watch his feet do it.
It certainly is. Knocked to the inside there, calls it off. Didn't pick up a point, but also didn't give up a point.
No, and also didn't get a penalty. That was really good awareness of him when he realized he wasn't going to make that apex jump to put his feet down on both sides of the track boundary. He did that so that he didn't step completely out of bounds and then inbounds, and he stuck it and held it. That was the 6-0-0 jam of the game, so that's a lot of minutes where nobody's scoring.
Lucky Charmer out there for Texas, taking on Shane Bauer. Shane Bauer, the leading scorer for the Gatekeepers today with 22 points already.
Percy Control sent to the penalty box. That's a forearm. Going to go sit on his 6th penalty. One more, and he will be leaving us for the afternoon, or morning, I guess. I guess it depends on where you are. If you're on the East Coast, we're getting real close to the afternoon.
Shane Bauer is out. He is not the lead jammer. Another 0-0 jam there.
That is 7 on the game. That's probably why we see such a low score, 106 to 109. It doesn't seem like a low score if you watch other sports, but for roller derby, that's modest.
Not unusual to see 300, 400 points. We do have a skater down.
The skater we see that is down, that is Tip, the captain for Texas. Taking a moment to have the EMTs come check him out. The EMTs here have been fantastic. Not only do they help out skaters on the track, but they've also been, providing materials to keep people from bleeding on the track and watching. He's up. He's headed over to the EMT area. They're going to take care of him over there, provide him with all he needs.
Yeah, we really couldn't do this without fantastic medic crews. Can't thank them enough. Safety, above everything, above wins, losses, everything else. Safety, our number one priority always. And glad to have such a qualified crew here to provide that safety for us.
Yeah, and remember, roller derby is not a professional sport. We all don't have fancy healthcare, so it's good to have people on site that can help us get to the to where we need to be to stay the healthiest we can be. And don't forget about ATI Physical Therapy. When injury strikes, you have a choice. You can choose ATI, official sports medicine provider for your Bruce City Bruisers.
That is Magnum PIMP out and lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. However, hot on his heels is Dr. Feelgood. Great move there. Oh, but picks up the track cut. Unfortunately, he will be sitting down. That's a Sakatumi power jam now for Dr. Feelgood.
That happened right in front of us. He tapped down his back two wheels before landing his front two wheels. He thought that he pulled both of his feet in bounds, but just couldn't do it. Great
attempt there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. Gatekeepers doing great defense, though, here. Great penalty kill so far.
Yeah, they were really able to hold Justice Dr. Feelgood.
Clockwise block on number 618. That is Bled Zeppelin.
He will be headed to the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box.
Fantastic defense, just tenacious from the Gatekeepers there. Dr. Feelgood not finding any daylight.
Just an upgrade on Tip. He's headed back to the bench. He looks okay, so everybody at home, Tip's doing good.
Blocking out a bounds penalty to Magnum PIMP. He is going back to the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box. Double Sakatumi power jam here for Texas. Tough break for the Gatekeepers. However, Texas not able to take advantage as of yet.
This will be a 2-minute jam. If you remember, Magnum PIMP was the lead jammer, so Dr. Feelgood has to go the next 11 seconds.
Just 5 points there. Rydell Skates grand slam for Dr. Feelgood. However, those are the only points he scored in this jam so far. Just 2 seconds left now. Outstanding penalty kill from the Gatekeepers. Keeping Texas from running away here. Keeping that score relatively tight. Just 7 points now. 8-4 jam there for the Gatekeepers. Or excuse me, for Texas.
You know, the Magnum PIMP was able to score 4 points even during that jam, so it held Texas to only only add 4 points to their differential. So considering that was a double power jam for them, that's actually a huge win for the Gatekeepers.
Huge win for the Gatekeepers there. Keeps the score 117-110 for Texas. 21:06 left in this game.
We have these double pod things happening right now. You have the Enabler caught behind a wall of Gatekeepers. You have Debaucherous Prime caught behind a wall of Outlaws.
Another penalty coming to a Gatekeepers jammer. Forearm penalty there going to the to Debaucherous Prime. The Enabler hoping maybe he can take a little bit better advantage of this Sakatumi power jam. He is out and lead jammer.
He is excited about that, and he's hoping to score some points, extend this lead for Texas, give them a little bit of breathing room.
Meanwhile, G.I. Joel headed to the box for Texas, and Spin Diesel heading to the box for the Gatekeepers. They're both going to take a seat in the Potawatomi Casino and Hotel penalty box.
The Enabler picks up 3 points. That's going to bring him to 47. That makes him the highest scorer for Texas.
3-point jam there for Texas. 120-110 now with just 20 minutes left in this game.
This is a 10-point game, and it's stayed that way for a little bit now, and it's, a little bit crazy. If you are at home and you're super excited or you're super nervous and you want to show us just how wonderful your watch party is, tweet a picture, Facebook a picture, tag it with Brouhaha 2015. Let me see how you're doing this morning.
That is Lucky Charmer out for Texas. He is the lead jammer. Debaucherous Prime back in now for the Gatekeepers. He is out and eligible to score. Lucky Charmer trying to get through and pick up points. He does. 3 more points for him. No points for the Gatekeepers. Texas sort of just, chipping away and sort of piling on just slowly to their lead. However, still just 13 points separating these two teams.
Yeah, the Gatekeepers were trying to outrun Texas Jammer. They were trying to keep it so that their Jammer could catch up, and then he would have to call it off, but they were just unable to. Texas Jammers are just so quick that strategy doesn't work as well on them as maybe another team.
Buster out for Texas. Shane Bauer out for the Gatekeepers. Little high five there from both of them. I love to see the sportsmanship there. Two teams enjoying playing each other and having a good time on the track. It is Shane Bauer who is out and lead Jammer, and Buster about a half track behind.
Like I was saying about fast Jammers, Buster is really able to make quick work of this track. Shane Bauer headed into the pack. He's able to pick up 2 points for calling off this jam. Big collision at the end of the jam between, I didn't see it. Did you see?
I did not see who collided with whom.
I'm not sure, but both that Texas blocker and the Texas Jammer went down hard, but they both got up. They're fine.
Ready to play again. Dr. Feelgood on the line, on the notorious RED Jammer line for Texas, taking on Handrail for the Gatekeepers. Big bunch of very large blockers in the way.
Texas has a 4-on-3 pack advantage right now. Inquadible Hulk is in the penalty box for the Gatekeepers.
Tough scrum start here. Not even to the pivot line yet.
That is Handrail. He's trying to find a hole, trying to find any sort of weakness in this Texas defense, and he's having a hard time doing it. Dr. Feelgood doing the same thing for the Gatekeepers. Oh, that's Handrail. He just got called on a cut. He stepped back in, of bounds in front of somebody that knocked him out, and he will be headed to the penalty box. This is a Sakatumi power jam for Texas.
Dr. Feelgood dragged all the way back to the notorious RED Jammer line, however, finally finds his way out. He is lead jammer, so fully in control of this jam here, hoping to take advantage of this Sakatumi power jam. Gatekeepers so far have done a great job of holding Texas to very few points on these power jams.
As good as they are at killing these power jams, it will be hard to win the game if you don't have a scoring player on the track. I have a feeling that the Gatekeepers are looking to minimize these power jams they've been letting out.
Well, yes, defense is the first part, but you can't win if you don't score any points. So they definitely need to keep those point scorers on the track. Sure, they're going to talk about that as well.
Yes. This will remain a Sakatumi power jam, standing at the notorious RED Jammer line. That is the enabler.
3 points put up there for Texas. It's a 14-point game.
All of the blockers for both teams are on the track so far.
Enabler looking for a seam tip with a little clear there. Didn't quite do the job. Enabler knocked down to the inside. Nice job there on that. Forcing him to recycle all the way to the back of the pack and into that tough white wall.
Handrail was absorbing all of those hits, but still hasn't gotten out of the pack yet. He's recycled as well.
Both jammers being knocked to the inside, having to go all the way back. Nobody getting any daylight here at all. Tough defense from both teams here. Both teams looking like they want to win this game.
Yeah, it has been now almost a minute, about 50 seconds, and we still don't have a lead jammer in this jam. So that's a testament to both of these teams' incredible defense. Digging
deep, both teams, and just really laying it on. Handrail thinking he saw some daylight there. Takes a huge hit from Tip.
Tip just washed off his nails on his shirt. Just day's work.
Picks up a clockwise block, though. Direction of gameplay penalty there to Tip. He will sit in the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box. We do have a lead jammer, and it is Handrail.
That was hard fought. He's hoping to score some points before the time expires on this jam, or he has to call it off. Whichever comes first.
Looking for anything at this point. He's earned whatever he gets.
Yeah, he's done. He calls that jam off.
No points for either jammer on that. Defense, wow.
That was a minute and 40-second jam.
Wow. That's just, and that's so hard on the jammers. They're in there digging and juking and trying to find anything they can. Great to see them not getting demoralized by that. Also love seeing that kind of defense. I love defensive derby, and just it makes my little coachy heart just all aflutter.
Timeout for Texas. That's their second. We talk so much about the jammers because it's easy to see their numbers when they're skating around by themselves, and it's harder to see the blockers and call them out by name. But you have a jam like that, and you realize just how physical, how hard, and how strategic it is to be a blocker. They really, kind of make the game. That is really impressive blocking.
You can have the best jammers in the world, and if you don't have great blocking, you're not going to win games. Both offensive and defensively, blockers make the jammers who they are.
I agree, and also that communication between the blockers and jammers of one team is really, really important, especially when you're trying to, who's going to speed up, who's in the front, who's in the back, how you score points. But when you look at just two completely impenetrable forces that those jammers are up against, it's just great teamwork together. Those blockers move as a unit. They're able to move to the right, move to the left, and you can't hear. For people who haven't played roller derby before, you can't hear each other. You can't talk and have a conversation like, you go left, I go right, we'll make it, we'll hold everybody back. No, they just have to know each other's bodies so well that they just move. I like to call it the amoeba defense. They just move as one unit.
Yep. It's a beautiful thing when it's working.
Yeah, it's like those fire ants in Texas. When it starts to flood, they just cling together and they create, floating islands of ants.
Right. Great leap move there from Magnum PIMP as he gets through, picks up lead jammer. He wants some points now. Knocked to the outside, gets back in quickly. He is picking up points, trying to find his way through, calls it off. Great Rydell Skates grand slam from him. Desperately needed points for Gatekeepers, pulls them within 9 points now. 14 minutes and 4 seconds left in this game. 117-126, Texas in the lead.
We've been hovering in the 10 range for quite a while in this game. It's been 9 points, 10 points, 15 points. So this is an incredibly close game with not a whole lot of movement in the score. It's got to be stressful for both teams.
Well, and both teams doing a great job of digging deep. Texas, Gatekeepers not allowing Texas to run away with it. Texas not allowing the Gatekeepers to, close that gap anymore between 8-9 points. I think we're in for a really, really great finish here.
The Outlaws have a pack advantage. It looks like there's only 2 Gatekeepers blockers on the track right now. That is Buster. He's the lead jammer. Jumps his teammate on the apex.
Why not? Because you can do that. Picks up a track cut penalty, though.
This will be a Sakatumi power jam for the Gatekeepers.
That is Shane Bauer out. He is not lead jammer, but now eligible to score.
This is going to be a 2-minute jam. Buster was the lead jammer, so now we will have no lead jammer. So both jammers are going to have to score or not score. Skate until the time expires in a minute.
That is Shane Bauer dancing his way through that pack, doing a great job of getting that Texas wall moving, making it easier for him to get through there. That's a Rydell Skates grand slam for him.
We now have a 4-point game. So that's one typical pass.
Texas digging deep, trying to prevent that lead change. Tip out there in front, doing great work against Shane Bauer. However, finally has to let him go. That is a Rydell Skates grand slam.
That is going to be a lead change. So now it is 127 for the Gatekeepers, 126 for Texas, but both jammers are scoring eligible and inside the pack right now. Spin Diesel. Oh,
I was just going to say Spin Diesel for the Gatekeepers, picking up a direction of gameplay penalty.
He is the only blocker in the box right now.
About to be joined, though, as you speak, by Bled Zeppelin.
That's his 6th, Bled Zeppelin. That's the second Gatekeepers blocker with 6 penalties.
Buster through there with 4 points, 4 more points going up for the Gatekeepers as well. When everything shakes out, we are at 131-135. Texas just 4 points over the Gatekeepers. 11:28 left here in this game.
So we saw 2 lead changes in that jam.
Amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. And now this is a much closer. I mean, it's funny to say that 4 points is much closer than 10 points, but it is. It is almost over 50% closer than it was at the beginning of that 2-minute jam.
Amazing. Math is hard.
No, it's not. You just need to only do math by 50%.
Official timeout here. They just wanted to get some things clarified, make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. That whistle means we're about to begin play again. Dr. Feelgood on the line for Texas, taking on Debaucherous Prime for the Gatekeepers.
Right now, there are 2 gatekeepers in the penalty box. There are no outlaws in the penalty box. That's weird. Shouldn't outlaws be in jail?
They should be, but they aren't always.
Texas.
Dr. Feelgood pushing his way around the outside, coming up against tough resistance, though. He thought he saw some daylight. That door closed quickly. Debaucherous Prime taking on, that is number 18 for Texas, Uncle Jesse McNasty. He picks up an out-of-play penalty for his trouble. Debaucherous Prime calling it off. Huge leap there from Dr. Feelgood. Did he pick up a penalty there? 2 points for the Gatekeepers. Somebody picked up a illegal procedure penalty. Did not see who that was.
The fourth whistle had blown before that leap, so that wouldn't have been scoring. The score right now is, now it's a 2-point game, which is, again, a 50% decrease in the lead for Texas. My mind is blown. We just get smaller and smaller. Do you think that it'll be a 1-point game at the end of the next jam?
If it is, I won't even be able to speak.
It's like a pound cake in an office in Minnesota. You just cut the last piece in half and in half and in half until there's only one crumb left, because that's how Minnesotans are. Just calling it how it is.
Let's talk a little bit about Turnaround Skates. Turnaround Skates is your source for roller derby skates, protective gear, and apparel. They are the official skate tech of the tournament. Right over there on Derby Laces Track 2. They are the official skate tech of the tournament. Offer wheel regrooving, bearing cleaning, skate repairs. After you check out our merch, need your name and number on a t-shirt? Turnaround Skates has you covered. We have reversible black and white tournament shirts for you to take home for only $25, which includes your name and number. Also, you can pick up your Bruce skate nooses and Sakatumi socks at the Turnaround Skate booth today. Turnaround Skates doing great work for skaters here at Brouhaha 2015.
On a more serious note, I would just like to take a moment to say, on behalf of everyone here at Midwest Brouhaha, we want to send our deepest sympathies to the Assassination City Derby. They sadly lost one of their skaters recently due to complications from surgery. All of our love and support is with them and the family of Rock Hell in this time. So much love to you, Assassination City Derby. You know, roller derby is one big family. Whether it's WFTDA, MRDA, Junior Roller Derby, we all stick together.
That's absolutely true, and you know we all. It's great to see everybody come together, in times of need.
For that jump at the end of the jam, there was a misconduct called on Dr. Feelgood, Black 986. He's sitting in the penalty box as a jammer. So this is going to be a Sakatumi power jam for the Gatekeepers, who are now 2 points behind the Outlaws. It's kind of been a change in tide of the power jams. There were more power jams for the Texas had more power jams to capitalize on in the first half, and in the second half, the Gatekeepers have had more power jams to capitalize on.
And have taken advantage. Just 2 points, as you noted, separating these two teams. 10 minutes, 10 seconds left in this game. Really could not be much tighter. A huge opportunity here for the Gatekeepers to see another lead change.
Yeah, Magnum PI has been, pretty good. He's only gone to the penalty box once as a jammer. He's now lead jammer.
Great move there to get through that Texas line. You go right ahead.
I was going to say, Texas is going to try really hard here to kill as much of this time as they can, hold Magnum PI motionless.
Great job by Magnum PI pushing that line, forcing them to change the way they're blocking. He picks up a Rydell Skates Grand Slam there. We do have a lead change.
Dr. Feelgood's still in the penalty box. Magnum PIMP through it once more. That's another Rydell Skates grand slam.
143 to 135 now our score. 9:15 left.
There's a cut that was called on Uncle Jesse McNasty from Texas. He's going to be sent to the penalty box. That's the second blocker from Texas that went to the box in that jam. You know, they were fighting hard to hold Magnum PIMP back, but they picked up some penalties doing it. Oh, the score.
147, 135. St. Louis Gatekeepers now over the Texas Outlaws. Still plenty of time left, and I expect to see a little more back and forth. However, great job there by St. Louis taking advantage of that Sakatumi power jam.
There have been no points for Texas in the last three jams. Dr. Feelgood is just released in the penalty box, rejoins the pack, but not before Screech Around gets lead.
Knocked out of bounds there. Dr. Feelgood is by number 82. That's Percy Control. Forced to come all the way back to the notorious RED jammer line. Meanwhile, great jump there by Screech Around. Picks up 4 points.
That extends the lead the Gatekeepers have. Inquadable Hulk sent to the penalty box. He's going to be the only blocker in the box right now.
Dr. Feelgood through, picks up no points. 3 more for the Gatekeepers.
Percy Control is headed to the penalty box. It looks like this will be his 7th penalty. Just wait and see if the head ref is going to escort him from the game.
154 to 135 now your score. 19 points for the Gatekeepers over Texas. 7:31 left in this game. Time now starts to become a factor. We don't have a huge gap here, but at this point, every second counts.
Well, especially considering the momentum in the second half has been in favor of the Gatekeepers. Although, if you look at the MRDA rankings, you know, Texas is ranked 6th. The Gatekeepers are ranked 1st. Even if they can't close this gap, even if they can't win, this is a win for them, given how close the score is. So they're going to want to keep this score as close as they can. They're obviously going to want to win, but that's why this is a 19-point game now.
Really outstanding game so far. So much fun to watch. The two teams obviously respect each other and have a lot of fun on the track. I can see you looking at them now. They're laughing and talking and chatting and whatever. However, still somebody wants to win.
If you're watching on your screen, we just took a look at the penalty board. There are lots of numbers on there. There are a lot of letters on that board.
Lots of letters on
Lots of letters on that board. This has been a very penalty-heavy game. And this team's, when teams this close in ranking, when so much on the line play each other, we do tend to see a lot of penalties. So it's not surprising. But, it has played a part of the score. In the first half, Gatekeepers had their jammer go to the box a lot. They were trailing. Second half, Texas has had their jammers go to the box a lot. Now they're trailing.
That is Shane Bauer out for the Gatekeepers. 38 points already on the day for him. Taking on Lucky Charmer for Texas. Lucky Charmer picking up a forearm penalty there. He will sit in the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box. Another Sakatumi power jam for the Gatekeepers. Exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, this gives them a chance to score. And again, Texas, if they're not on the track, they can't score points.
3 blockers on the track for Texas as well. Shane Bauer knocked to the ground, picking up a forearm penalty of his own. Oh, no, excuse me. Is that a high block penalty?
This will be a 2-minute jam. Both jammers have been in the penalty box. No lead.
Texas, great opportunity for them to maybe score some points, close this gap a little bit. Just 56 seconds left in this jam.
Gatekeepers have done a great job in stemming these power jams so far. Remember that the Gatekeepers jammer will only sit as long as the Outlaws jammer has sat. So not a very long time.
Great blocking from Bled Zeppelin. Very aggressive despite sitting on several penalties here. 5 penalties there.
You can see Shane Bauer rejoining the action on the Derby Laces track now.
Lucky Charmer is out and eligible to score. Gatekeepers coming together to try to prevent that. Phillips Stout heading to the box for Texas.
That's going to be his 7th, so now we're going to have a foul out on the Texas side.
After everything settles down there, 3 points for Texas, no points for the Gatekeepers there. Great job by the Gatekeepers killing the penalty. Great job by Texas drawing the penalty on Shane Bauer. Neither team able to take advantage of that Sakatumi power jam.
Well, these are the first points that Texas has scored in 4 jams, but man, I know we've been saying this a lot, but these blockers are doing a fantastic job. That was a full 2-minute jam, most of which both jammers were on the track.
In many ways, blocking really the story of this game in that way. No jammer, with 40 or 50 points here. Leading scorer currently is Shane Bauer with 38. The enabler does have 47 points. However, nobody's sitting on 100 or anything like that. Great blocking all the way around.
This is a 16-point game. We've seen jams bigger than that in this game multiple times. So, the clock is becoming an enemy, but it's certainly not insurmountable.
Devatros Prime is the jammer for the Gatekeepers. He is out and eligible to score. However, the enabler has already scored 4 points here. 9 points for the jam. Enabler running into a tough wall of defense there from Gatekeepers, doing great recycling as well.
During that pass, Rhino for Texas went to the penalty box on a 4-arm penalty.
Five points there for Texas, 14 points on the jam. Finishing that with a Rydell Skates Grand Slam, 154 to 152, just 2 points now separating these teams again.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear, indeed.
Oh dear.
3:30 left in this game now. Time definitely a factor. This is going to come down to the wire, I suspect.
Yeah, this could be a last jam kind of game.
Maybe we'll get.
No, don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it, Rex. I don't want to hear you say that.
I'm not going to say a word. However, outstanding play here from both teams. Really enjoyable game. As I mentioned earlier, I love seeing how much fun they're having on the track. Love seeing two teams that are fighting hard against each other, not taking it personally.
This is the first jam that Tip has had the star on his helmet. He is Team USA teammates with Magnum PIMP, so they're both frenemies maybe for this jam.
At least for this jam. Great to see. Right. Great to see Tip out there on the jammer line after having to leave the game for a little bit to sort of get looked at by our medical staff. Really good to see him on that notorious RED jammer line.
Yeah, this is going to be quite an exciting jam. I think you can feel the tension in this room. There's quite a few people watching this game. Who are you rooting for? Let me know. Let me know on Twitter. Let me know on Facebook. Just tag it Brouhaha 2015.
Magnum PIMP making quick work of those Texas blockers. However, Tip making just about equally quick work of the Gatekeepers when he finally gets there. Not lead jammer for Tip, however, that is Magnum PIMP through for 4 points.
Tip is able to hit the pack. He is scoring eligible. Remember, he also picks up 4 points.
At this point, with a slight advantage, trading points, not the worst thing in the world for the Gatekeepers as precious seconds tick down. 4 more points for the Gatekeepers there. No points for Texas. 162-156 when everything settles down.
That's a 6-point game with 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. In the penalty box right now for the Gatekeepers is Inquadable Hulk. He is at 6 penalties. So 1 more to go.
Full crew of blockers on the track for Texas. Just 3 for the Gatekeepers.
On the line for Texas, that is Lucky Charmer. For the Gatekeepers, that is Handrail. Both have had large jams today. Both are hoping for a large jam right now. Out first, that is Lucky Charmer. He is lead jammer. You can hear the excitement in the arena for that. Or maybe you can't, but I hope you can.
Everybody likes a close game.
Especially in the morning. Much better than coffee.
Handrail coming up some tight defense there. Picks up a track cut penalty. Very unfortunate for him. Also slips on his way around to the penalty box. Lucky Charmer out. Picks up a Rydell Skates Grand Slam. 162-161 now.
This is a 1-point game. Lucky Charmer able to get through with not a lot of resistance from the Gatekeepers. That's 5 more points. We have 4 more points. We have a lead change. The end of that jam, it is 165 for Texas, 162 for the Gatekeepers. You can hear the excitement in this arena. There's 1 minute and 3 seconds left on the period clock.
Gatekeepers calling a timeout. They want to talk about how to finish this game.
Also, they want to keep that 30 seconds from ticking off the clock.
Yes, they do.
You know, right now, the clock is nothing but your enemy, probably for both teams.
Probably for both teams. Great unity here from Texas. You can't see it on your screen, but they are hugging and very excited. Meanwhile, Gatekeepers talking things over. They want to finish this strong. Just 3 points. That's all they need. 4 points to take the lead.
This would be a huge upset for Texas to beat the number 2 team in all of the Men's Roller Derby Association.
Get ready, folks. This is going to be cool.
The Gatekeepers do not want to let that happen. Everybody, I think, is going to... I mean, I know this is a cliche, and I'm just going to say it anyway, so you can all hate on me on Twitter in the next 10 minutes, but I think they're all going to leave everything on the track. It's also Sunday. They're not playing again tomorrow. They're only probably drinking.
Remember, Handrail in the penalty box, the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino penalty box. He is standing. However, the Enabler is the only jammer on the track right now for Texas. Texas lining up on that inside line. They don't want any resistance for their jammer.
All of the Texas bench has taken a knee just outside of the safety line. They just finished chanting, "We ain't done yet." So they're certainly pumped right now.
Handrail into the back of that pack. Tough resistance from Texas. Meanwhile, Enabler not getting any love at all.
He is through. He's lead jammer. There's 41 seconds left on the clock. The Saint for the Gatekeepers just headed to the penalty box. It is a 3-on-2 pack right now. Handrail hits the pack. He's also scoring eligible.
Runs into the back of his own blocker.
It's better than the back of an opponent.
Truth.
It's 5 points for the Enabler.
Great block there from number 1775. That is G.I. Joel.
Blood Zeppelin just sent to the penalty box. I believe this is his 7th penalty.
Enabler threw on another scoring pass. That's a Rydell Skates Grand Slam for him. 175-162 is your score right now. Time expires.
Well, Texas Men's Roller Derby, Texas Outlaws have won this game. They've beat the number 2 ranked MRDA team, the Gatekeepers. Not a lot of people thought this was coming today. They are very excited, as you can see.
Jammer ref for the Gatekeepers clarifying.
They are doing a wrestling chant that the Islanders took over this year. They're just chanting, yes, that's what you do when you're the underdog and you win.
175-165 after all of the points are clarified. Still your unofficial final here. However, 10 points separating these two teams. I doubt that this wonderful officiating crew has missed 10 points here today.
No, I don't think so. And, you know, this makes Texas undefeated on the weekend. So, good weekend for them.
You know, and we can't say enough about the Gatekeepers as well. Just really wonderful game on both sides of the Derby Laces track 2 here. Really impressed with their defense, especially. Ran into a little bit of penalty trouble early on, and I think that hindered them a little bit. But wow, way to come back in that second half and really make this a game.
Absolutely, the Gatekeepers, they did what they do best, which is hold your jammer back. Keep you from moving, keep you from scoring. I mean, this is a very low-scoring game, especially for this weekend. So we just want to thank some of our sponsors again as we wrap up. So thank you to HI Physical Therapy. Of course, this has been on our Derby Laces track, and our Gate Tech for this weekend, turnaround skates. Don't forget, this has been a Hinckley Productions. You can donate. Just go to the Brouhaha Facebook group or check out the Brew City Bruisers website.
Next up on Derby Laces Track 2 is Steel City versus Detroit at 12:30 local time. Another great game coming up there. Lots of action all day long, going well into the night here at Brouhaha 2015. If you're watching the stream, don't do anything else. It's Sunday. You got nothing better to do. Watch some great roller derby. Lots more great games coming up.
You can do your dishes and stream roller derby. You can do your laundry and stream roller derby. I hope to see you again later today. I'm October Revolution.
I'm Rex Manning.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Hi everybody, this is Zach here from Rydell Skates, and we're here to talk to you today about an exciting new product we have. This is our R-Fit footbed kit. It's designed to help alleviate pain and reduce some soreness that people commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and heel wedges to it, which is really where all the customization comes in. Installed in the footbed is a blue arch support, which is neutral. There's also a red arch support, which is for high arches, and an orange arch support, which is for low arches. Installation and swapping them out is really simple. All you need to do is just peel the Velcro off and then install the new insert. The heel is another area of customization. You can use the included purple heel lift to elevate the heel in the boot, which can reduce heel slippage, irritation, or shin splints. Or you can use the included green heel wedge. It's angled, so depending on the way you install it, it can help correct pronation or supination issues. This metatarsal pad can be installed on the top side of the footbed to help reduce numbness in the toe and ball area of the foot. Getting the proper fit is really simple. What you'll need to do is take your existing insole out of your skates. Then all you need to do is line the two up on top of each other and trace and trim to fit. The R-Fit footbed kit is available now at any of our authorized retailers. And for more information, you can always visit our website at www.roller.rydellskates.com.
Come celebrate summer with the Dairyland Dolls, Saturday, June 20th and Saturday, July 11th at the Hartmeyer Ice Arena. Doors at 5, action at 6. But wait, there's more. The Dairyland Dolls will be shaking things up with a special outdoor exhibition bout on Saturday, June 27th during the Festival Food Shake the Lake celebration at the Monona Terrace. Event opens at 5, derby at 6. Come for Derby, stay for fireworks. Find the Derby in you. MadRollandDolls.com.
Turnaround Skates is proud to support the 2015 Midwest Brouhaha. We are a Derby-owned roller skate shop in Buffalo, New York. Our focus is providing our customers with innovative and quality skates, parts, and protective gear from all the top manufacturers. Our customers represent a variety of skating styles and backgrounds. Our boutique shopping experience focuses on finding the right skates and gear for you. We also add a bit of style with our fun accessories and clothing. Visit us in Buffalo or online at turnaroundskates.com.
Hi everybody, this is Zach here from Rydell Skates, and we're here to talk to you today about an exciting new product we have. This is our R-Fit footbed kit. It's designed to help alleviate pain and reduce some soreness that people commonly get while skating. First, let's talk about the R-Fit footbed itself. It's a high-density foam with a soft top cover on it. It allows for a lot more cushion and support for a safer and more effective skating session. On the back side, there's Velcro components that allow you to attach adjustable arch supports and heel wedges to it, which is really where all the customization comes in. Installed in the footbed is a blue arch support, which is neutral. There's also a red arch support, which is for high arches, and an orange arch support, which is for low arches. Installation and swapping them out is really simple. All you need to do is just peel the Velcro off and then install the new insert. The heel is another area of customization. You can use the included purple heel lift to elevate the heel in the boot, which can reduce heel slippage, irritation, or shin splints. Or you can use the included green heel wedge. It's angled, so depending on the way you install it, it can help correct pronation or supination issues. This metatarsal pad can be installed on the top side of the footbed to help reduce numbness in the toe and ball area of the foot. Getting the proper fit is really simple. What you'll need to do is take your existing insole out of your skates. Then all you need to do is line the two up on top of each other and trace and trim to fit. The R-Fit footbed kit is available now at any of our authorized retailers. And for more information, you can always visit our website at www.roller.rydellskates.com.